Oh, jeez, it's cold.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Spidey Dude or Chasm Dude Experience. I'm Zach Joyner, your friendly neighborhood webmaster and host of the program. Tonight we are going to be covering the finale of Dark Web, issues 18 of Amazing Spider-Man and Dark Web finale number 1. We also got some major announcements we're going to be making at the beginning of this here episode. So I'm really looking forward to that. Before we get started, we've got to thank our patrons. Patreon.com/SpideyDude Network. Patrons such as Vinkman, Scott, Greg, Keegar, Phoenician, Kale, Georgia, Jessica, Catherine, Cindy, Jurgen, Laura, and our newest Patreon member, Master Dameron. Thank you guys for your support and all the stuff that you guys do with over at patreon.com/SpideyDude Network. Gotta thank those Patreon subscribers each and every episode. Before we get started, gotta make our usual disclaimer. This is going to have potentially visual aids and or live comments, so be sure to pay it no mind if you're listening to the audio edition of the show. Come join us over at youtube.com/SpideyDude Radio Network. Be sure to give us a like, share, and subscribe. Or if you're listening to us on that audio edition, give us those 5-star reviews and leave us reviews, and we'll play them on a future episode. Voicemail line, of course, is 818-925-6631. And without further ado, we're going to get started. I am Zach Joyner, your friendly neighborhood webmaster, as we get going. And I'm joined by Matty Pryor's boy toy himself, Neil Bogenreiter.
Yeah, it's me. It's Havoc. Let's go.
So, this episode, obviously being the Dark Web finale, it's our first episode of February. I'm going to get the audio editions caught up. I've been dealing with a lot of internet issues, so don't ever
freezing.
Yeah, it's luckily, you know, I don't. You're a little further north than I am. I'm closer to the coast, so it's been about in the mid 40s. But it's been very wet.
Let me check the weather where I am. That's OneDrive. Okay, let me check my temperature. It is 39 degrees. So
yeah, so it's
just a little cold. Oh, lordy.
It is a little cold. A very happy birthday, by the way, to Ron Friends. We are recording this on his birthday. I do want to mention here off the top, Make Mine Mayday next week. Going to be the big interview between myself, Kelly, and the three-headed brain trust of Mayday Parker, Pat Olive, Ron Friends, and Tom DeFalco.
King Ghidorah, the King Ghidorah of MC2, if you will.
Yeah, I guess so. Kelly's cringing somewhere for no reason. But yes, this is Spidey Dude Experience. So we're going to be obviously talking about the regular comics. We've got 2 issues tonight that we're going to be covering. But first, we do need to talk about a little something that we've been talking about for a while.
Yeah, this is actually something we've been talking about for like months now, but we kind of solidified it at the beginning of the year. So
Neil has a bit of an announcement. Neil, I'm going to let you.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm going solo. Okay, so a bit sudden, but this is my last episode of the Spidey Dude Experience. Yeah, there's a bunch of factors that kind of led to that decision. I'm trying to explain myself. You're being an asshole. Shit like that. But there's a couple of things that led to this decision. The first was, if you have noticed, my apathy to the current Amazing Run has been broadly noticeable for a while, and I feel like I've got I don't really feel like I have anything unique left to contribute to the discourse. And the reason we actually withheld it for as long as we did was we just didn't want people to think that it was because of the altercation that occurred last episode. So we just wanted to kind of put that aside. It wasn't because of that. This has been kind of in the works far longer than that episode was recorded. So
it got a little testy last episode, so I know that there are going to be people that are going to think that it was because of that. It's not because of that. It's not, and the guys are not here. They're running behind.
Yeah,
okay.
but I just want to make sure that everyone was aware that that wasn't a reason why I'm leaving. I'm also leaving to one. I have a full-time job now, so I don't have as much time. I have to kind of figure out where I'm standing on things. Additionally, I am taking more of a producer role behind the scenes. I'm going to be working on scheduling, logistics, and design for the entire site, figuring out the design language for each show and how it fits into the broader Spidey Dude Radio Network design language. So that's going to be taking more time away. And I'm also going to be show running Books of X. Zach and Kelly will be regular, if not the current hosts. But as of now, that is kind of my big show that I'm show running. So that takes a lot more of my time to coordinate and schedule out recordings for that show, as well as do the reading material for those episodes. So we thought it was best that, I kind of take my leave of Spidey Dude experience, leave at kind of a point where my apathy couldn't go any lower, and use that to send me to newer heights.
Let me get a little inside baseball here. On that other show that I have was associated with for a very long time, there was moments and times where I kept doing the show, but not enjoying the books. It's because I liked being here, or liked being there, or liked, doing the show, but I didn't like doing the books. And I've always said that if you're not enjoying the content of what you're covering, there is sometimes where you're reveling in how bad it is. Trust me, Clone Saga Chronicles is full of this. However, if you're completely apathetic and you're not even finding the joy in the bad, then there's no reason to continue doing the show just to do the show. So with that being said, we are going to have a fourth chair open, and we are going to be looking for people to fill that role. Don't know what that entails yet, but I am looking forward to kind of reaching out to people that I feel like might want to do something and have a little bit more diversity in terms of
opinion.
Yeah, because right now, me and especially with this story, me and Neil over here.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I always get that backwards.
No,
me and Neil,
I get it.
Very apathetic towards the Ben Reilly elements, and I think a little bit with Adam too. Welcome Adam to the show, by the way. He popped in here just a minute ago. So, all that being said, we are looking to fill that fourth chair. So if you are interested in joining the Spidey Dude Radio Network family, reach out to me. The email, you can always find me on the social medias, but my email is spideyduderadionetwork@gmail.com. That way you guys can come talk about it. So I can officially delete the Broken Rider Variety Hour graph bit that I had up there. But like I say,
and also all this is amicable. We came to this decision a while back. This was just kind of the time we decided to announce it.
We had talked about this at the beginning of Dark Web.
Actually, we've been talking about this since like November, just because we realized kind of the scale of everything we were working on.
And look, this has been a lot. The fact that we've had roughly the same cast, for almost 2.5 years now, is a pretty good accomplishment. So the fact that we haven't had anybody leave and there hasn't been any hard feelings and stuff like that. Well, there's been a little hard feelings, but between
that's not the reason why I'm leaving the show.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that we've covered a couple of hundred issues now of the book. No, not a couple hundred.
It's been like 100-ish.
Almost
It's basically been 100.
Nope, we have covered 100.
It's over 100.
Yeah, so we started with 801, and now we're at what 8?
We're like
913, I think. 912.
912. So the fact that we've covered over 100 issues, not to mention the issues, not to mention the one shots and the special issues,
the Sins Rising,
Sins of Norman Osborn and Sins Rising,
and Sinister War and all of that.
So we've covered probably 130 issues, I would say, really easily. That's a pretty good accomplishment for a excuse me, it was 802. Sorry, Venkman.
Thank you, Venkman.
The bad stuff in the Clone Saga was fun to make fun of. Yes, it was.
Here, I'm going to put some antifreeze in my drink.
Oof. We'll miss you on SDE, Venkman says, but I'm definitely looking forward to what Neil's going to bring on Books of X. Kelly is here for support, Neil, so it's all good.
Thank you, Kelly.
Again, Kelly's in the comments. Happy birthday to our friend Ron Friends. We will see him next week on Make Mine Mayday. There we go. All right.
You did it.
Well, I have to make sure that we promote that.
That people know.
Yeah, the people need to know.
They do.
If you've subscribed, you already, and you got on the YouTube page, you've already seen it. If you're on Facebook, you've already seen it. So we'll be promoting that more starting tomorrow, kind of ramping up. So you'll see me talk about that pretty incessantly for the next week. So, Kelly says, thank you, Zach. Really look at, like I say, all right, so here we are. It's Dark Web finale.
It's the final countdown.
Where there's a lot of this. All right, that's all I'm doing.
The video gets removed immediately.
It's gonna. Oh my god, we just screwed ourselves. This video's gonna get demonetized. Like the minute we get monetized, you're done. You use music. Bad.
Yeah. No. For those that know the reference to that is Magic from. I don't even remember the band. It's just the opening bit for the song.
It's magic.
They use that. They use the melody for Ozempic now. I don't know how they got away with that.
They probably own the song.
They probably paid a lot of money to use that as. But yes, I remember. I've heard that.
Thank you, American pharmaceutical industry. You truly are one of a kind. Anyways.
Let's move on.
Speaking of crappy institutions, let's talk about Dark Web. So, okay, you want me to You want me to do a little bit of a recap?
Yeah, let's do a bit of a recap. I'm gonna be texting Paul while you're doing that, seeing if he's gonna make it tonight.
Paul, get in here now. We need discourse.
Yes.
Actually,
it's like I'm all discoursed out.
After what, 2 weeks ago on the episode? Was it 2 weeks ago?
The last episode.
That would be that was my fault. Sorry, I forgot to turn off my ringtone.
It's fine.
Got my iPad so I can doodle when I get bored. Okay, so pilot. Okay, so not Dark Web. Amazing Spider-Man number 18, a Dark Web tie-in. Written by Zeb Wells. Pencils by Ed McGuinness, inks by Cliff Rathburn, and colors by Marcio Menez and Eric Arciniego. Okay, I guess Paul's not coming on then. I just got the text.
Yeah, I saw
it. So after a tribute to Carlos Pacheco, who, God damn, can you hear the notifications on y'all's end?
I could, yes.
Oh, crap. Okay. So after a tribute to Carlos Pacheco, who sadly passed away, I believe in 2022,
Yes.
Yeah, it was a couple months ago.
At the like literal end of the year. So like just one more knife and twist of the knife. That was 2020 Part 3. Madeline Pryor, who is now good, I guess, says, "Hey X-Men, wait here. I'm going to go talk to Baja Blast." She goes to Ben, who is sulking under.
No, Baja Blast is that's Ben. Okay.
Yes, Ben Riley is Baja Blast. Who typed in this dark web story was just a who typed that in?
I don't know. Just keep going.
Okay. So, anyways,
It's a ghost.
it's the ghost of Spidey Dude's past.
Yes. Coming to haunt you, Neil.
Oh crap! It's gonna follow me to Books of X, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So Baja Blast and Janine, I'm not even gonna call her Hallows Eve because she's done nothing. She's done nothing with it in this book except for like one thing. She and Ben are hanging out under the soul fruit tree, and Ben's like, "Hey, I'm gonna get him this time. I promise, man." It's like, "No, just stop. Stop. What are you doing? It's over." Jerry Dugan, he solved the plot. Jean Grey, she copy pasted her memories into my head. The plot's been solved. We can do the same for you. And Ben decides, no, I'm going to be an irrational little child. I'm going to run away. And Janine says, it's okay. We take care of ourselves. We always do. Starts at the credits page. We cut back to Limbo, where we see Peter teaming up with everyone's favorite Battletoad, Wreck Rap. We'll talk about him later, but he's kind of the best part of the issue. I'm not gonna lie. That's the sad part. So Peter and Wreck Rap go up against the Insidious Six, and Wreck Rap shows off his strange abilities. He uses finger guns to shoot web bullets at the Insidious Six. It's okay. We take care of ourselves. We always. Who's echoing?
That was me. Sorry, I was trying to share the stupid thing on my phone. It's not working. All right.
Okay.
My bad. I can do internet.
Yes,
continue.
You can. And Wreck Rap also uses his spider signal as, I guess, a gun. I'm not sure if it's like just a projection or if it's like a bullet that comes out of his spider signal. But we cut back to Maddie saying that she's going to command her troops back to Limbo, and Janine says that you have something that we want. Maybe your power deserves someone with a little less responsibility. Once again, stealing Kane's line and giving it to Ben Riley. I don't know what the obsession is with giving him the all the power, no responsibilities line, but I don't like it.
Nope.
So it cuts back to Wreck Rap making several different automatopoeias for his finger guns, as Peter leads Robbie, Jonah, and is that Ben on the left side behind Robbie in that panel where they're running out of Limbo?
I think
it looks like Ben Urich. It does kind of look like it could be Ben Urich.
But but they never said he was there. It was just Robbie and Jonah. So where did he come from? I guess he got to hell too. Thanks. And Jonah scares off chicken shit here by pretending to be a demon, and he says, "I'm going to bite your head off." And Jonah says he thinks I'm one of them, and Robbie says, "I don't think that's something to be proud of." And Peter says, "We're getting out of here. Come on, Battletoad, you're coming with us." Unfortunately, Wreck Rap decides to follow him. Back at the tree of soul fruits, Ben is saying, I was going to convince Peter. I was going to beg him to eat the fruit. But because Manny doesn't like me anymore, they've all rotted away. Just like my mind, it's all hollow. I forgot who was in charge. And Janine says, was in charge, yes. And she gives him Maddie's Scythe of Sorrows. And he becomes Devilman from the 1972 Devilman anime and says, "All hail King Chasm." He looks stupid. Everyone gets out into the portal. Everyone runs towards the portal for back to New York from Limbo before a giant blast appears, and so does King Chasm with Hallows Eve. Peter says, Congrats on making yourself even weirder, Ben. Let's make it about me and you, I guess. Rap tries to save Peter from getting swatted aside, but he gets tossed around too. And Ben turns into an Elden Ring villain and says, "Today we march in the Overlands." At Central Park, Ben's tower, I guess it's a tower, appears in the sky, and all is doomed. Peter wakes up and is greeted by Jonah and the X-Men, and the only thing that really made me really laugh in this issue was Wreck-Rap introducing himself to the X-Men, and Peter says, "Please ignore him," and Cyclops just says, "Yeah, okay." Maddie offers Spider-Man to join her, and the issue ends. In a page that is very obviously supposed to be Venom there's Wreck-Rap.
Wreck-Rap. Okay. Grades. Let's go around the horn. Let's give our grades.
I want to hear Adam's grade first. I think he might be the most positive out of all of us. I kind of want to hear his grade.
I don't know. I think I'd give it maybe a B minus.
Ooh, you're way kinder than I'll be.
Wow. Okay.
Boy, or like a B minus C plus ish.
You might be weighing Ed McGuinness a lot harder than I am.
I mean, I think the art's really good.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. The art is definitely the thing carrying this book.
It's not pronounced Recrap. It's pronounced Wreck-Rap. I understand Recrap was an easy, like, low-hanging fruit, but come
on. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think again, you know, Wreck-Rap's the MVP. I do like. I said it before. Like, I like these knockoff Sinister Six demons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I think that the King Chasm thing is dumb, but I actually like how the design, his costume is cleaned up a little bit. You know, it's a little.
He doesn't have like the oozing Mountain Dew coming out.
Yeah, of him. It's a little more minimal, and it looks pretty good, barring like the wings and the Devilman mask.
I don't know. Hang on, let me pull up a picture of. Zach, have you ever seen the Devilman anime?
It does look honestly a lot.
I'll be right back.
The Jonah line is pretty good when he scares the chicken demon.
I don't know why I called him chicken shit. That made no sense.
Well, because he actually ends up being scared of him and runs away.
Oh yeah.
The Cyclops line is pretty funny when Spidey says to ignore him, and
ignore him.
Cyclops is like, "All right." I don't know. It's kind of.
Behold, King Chasm.
I like Wreck-Rap's powers. They're kind of fun.
Yeah. Okay. So to build off of that, my grade is a D plus, probably a C minus.
Yeah.
And Wreck-Rap is the MVP of the issue. Tonally, he fits. He doesn't fit in at all.
Yeah, but
he's still fun. The most interesting character to read.
Kind of, just because he's so
he's
eager.
So absurd. He's so absurd, and his personality bounces off of Peter's.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like it's almost like a Deadpool thing, but he's not really Deadpool like at all. He's like more. I almost feel like he's more charming than Deadpool, but like in this case, Peter's the straight man, and this is just like a, you know, eager to please demon that's trying to help out his new best friend.
Yeah, I think if Wreck-Rap was in a more tonally appropriate story, he'd be a lot better. Sure. As is, he's like the one shining nugget in this piece of crap.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
You nailed it on the head with like all your pros and cons.
And it just doesn't really offend me, you know, to give it too low of a grade. Like, it's not. I mean, it's a quick read, and it's, you know, that helps.
I think for me, it's more aggravation that this is apparently the story Zeb Wells has been wanting to tell. This was like the big one he wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean,
it just doesn't have that. It just doesn't have that weight to it that he said it would.
The problem is I just feel like this was the wrong story to tell. This was the wrong avenue to take the Ben versus Peter, Chasm versus Spider-Man thing.
The weird X-Men
Yeah.
tie-in felt unnecessary, and we'll talk about that later.
I'd say that's my big con with this whole arc is like, if you want to do Ben as the villain and Peter is reluctantly fighting him, trying to find a way to save him, etc., like, I think there were other ways to have have Ben try to get his memories back from Peter that doesn't involve this X-Men Inferno Redux.
Here's the thing:
stuff.
by accident, the X-Men tie-ins solve the plot for this entire story. Like, because I mentioned in last episode that Jean Grey literally solved the plot by copy pasting her soul memories into Maddie's head, and now Maddie is good, I guess, and faces no consequences for her actions. But now we have to make Ben act like an irrational child to keep the plot moving forward. Like he goes out of his way to like, no, I don't want the easy solution. I want things to be difficult. I want Peter to suffer for what he did to me.
I'm sorry, this is not Ben. This makes more sense if it's Spider's side. I know there's been like a theory about it being potentially Spider's side as opposed to Ben.
They could definitely do that.
It's very easy.
The JMD mini set that up more or less.
But frankly, this one, I remember when I read this a couple of weeks ago. What was it? A couple weeks ago or last week? Was it last week?
It was last week.
Last week. Feels like a couple weeks ago. That's just how my life's been going. When I read this last week, I just remember, one, I got spoiled because some certain
wasn't my fault, I promise.
I mean, I think it was everywhere.
Like the whole demon, like him becoming the
King Chasm splash,
him becoming Devil Man,
got circulated quite a bit over on Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah,
and so I don't dislike the design. The wings are kind of
okay.
All right,
my take on it is if you gave him more black, it would be a bit better. I think the main issue is just too much purple.
Yeah, that, and I think also I don't necessarily love the eyes. I've never been a squinty-eyed Spidey guy, so like I'd like to see it maybe with bigger eyes. In terms of a concept, I'm like, all right, fine. This is kind of dumb, but okay. This is we're at the almost to the end of this story, so maybe there'll be some redeeming value in the next issue. So for me, this is a D-, because I just feel like that this, again, if this is the story he wanted to tell, it's not a story that I wanted to be a part of. Okay. I've enjoyed a lot more elements of Zeb Wells' run, but this and the mystery box element have been certainly the two things that have gave me a lot of pause. I am at the point when it comes to this that I'm ready for the event to be over. And I have not said that since, I think the last time I said that was probably during the end of Beyond. But I was ready for it. And Janine, again, felt like this was just a backdoor pilot to do this whole, miniseries.
I'll talk about that next issue, because that definitely is like, hey, here's the pilot for my
Yeah, she actually did shit in the next issue. So it was intentional to rip off
Chernobog from Fantasia. Yeah.
Potentially.
So
look at this.
Smart one.
I mean, the head is like
it's not even like they didn't even try to make it look different. It's almost
the head
the
is
exact
very
same.
similar.
The wings are straight up. Here's what I expect Hasbro to do. They're going to come out with the deluxe version of this.
They're going to use the Venom mold from Kate's run with the wings.
They're going to use the Venom mold. They're going to give him a new head sculpt, and they're going to use the wings. And they're going to charge like $50 for it.
Mm-hmm.
Book it now. Will I buy it? No. Probably not. I will. Okay, I will probably buy the because it's rumored that the Beyond suit's going to be out there, or possibly the Chasm suit coming out. I will potentially buy that Marvel Legend when it comes, but I can't justify paying for that character to support something that I obviously am so against. So, all right, well, all right, Matty Pryor's Boy Toy. Let's do the finale.
Oh, you're gonna love this because this issue is basically just the X-Men versus Chasm.
Kinda, yeah.
But I really needed you here because you needed to explain half this shit to me because I'm going. I think I read the first 2 issues of the X-Men part.
The 3rd issue is actually really good, but like, if you didn't read that, you're gonna be really confused. And that's kind of one of my to kind of cheat a bit and skip ahead. One of my cons of this issue is that it kind of requires you to have read everything else. When Niccolo did promise us that this would be, and you only have to read Amazing Spider-Man to know what's going on, but that has never been the case as far as I've seen in this.
I think
art.
For me, the only thing that was like, oh, okay, that's out of nowhere was the Venom thing.
We're gonna get a lot of that in this
Eddie's
issue.
New.
All right, while you're doing this recap, I'll be right back.
His new groove.
Eddie Brock's new groove. All right. Dark Web Dawn. Okay, so it's weird because this issue is technically billed as Dark Web Finale, but internally it is called Dark Web Dawn #1.
Right, and it was actually on the checklist. It was that until this last ASM issue, I think.
And then it got retroactively made into Dark Web Finale #1. It's weird. I don't know if there was like a logistical error.
They might have thought they thought people would be confused. I don't know. Somehow.
Okay, so the book is Zeb Wells, Adam Kubert, and Francesco Mortorino. Is that how you pronounce it, Adam?
Let me see. I need to bring it up again.
I think it's Mortorino.
But also,
sorry.
Yeah, Scott
Hanna on inks and colors by Frank Martin and Guru EFX. So the issue begins. Oh, sorry.
I think it's Mortorino. Yeah.
Okay. So the issue begins in New York City in the Limbo Annex, where we see the demon mailbox. Because that was a funny gag. Haha, so funny. And Ben and Janine are reflecting on the fact that they never had a Christmas in New York. And they've never really had much money for presents, but this year they're going to spoil themselves, or they have spoiled themselves. And they got the same thing because of the Scythe of Sorrows. They got New York City. And Ben decides, you know what? This usually happens after the war is over, but we're going to cheat and have a parade. So after the titles page, the heroes, are they in Limbo or are they in New York? Because it looks like they're in Limbo, but I can't really tell.
I think they're supposed to be in New York now, I thought.
Because they're surrounded by like pointy rocks, and that to me kind of screams Limbo. But I guess the point is that the line is blurred so much that doesn't really matter.
But I thought, well, in the last issue, weren't they like leaving Limbo to go save New York?
Yeah, I was kind of confused by that because at the end of the issue, they don't actually show a location. Ben and Janine are in New York, but like they bring the castle into into New York, but they never explicitly say where Peter and Recrap and the Daily Bugle cast went. I think it's just implied they went to the shitty blue and orange void that the colorist forgot to actually put detail into. So Peter and Maddie are going back and forth arguing about what they should do about Chasm. The X-Men are kind of like, this is kind of between them. We'll stay out of this. And Maddie says, it's going to be tough. I hope everyone's ready for a fight. And the Cyclops says, that's my cue. We can do a fight. And
actually keep going.
That actually kind of was a line that went really hard. Too bad it's in this story. So back in New York Limbo, the Insidious Six are marshaling around King Chasm and Hallows Eve. And then the X-Men just show up because screw you, I guess. This issue is kind of just screw you, don't think about it. The issue.
Yeah, I guess so.
The Insidious Six charge into battle against the X-Men, and they see Maddie, and all of a sudden Bedlam appears. Hey, remember that Venom had a tie into this book? Me neither, but here he is anyways because fuck you. I know. Well, it had to happen eventually. We get one per episode. That's my one.
I know.
Um,
It's your last F-bomb for the year, for the show.
Yeah, it's a fitting one too. Bedlam goes into battle, and he's hee-hee-ho-hoing his way through countless swaths of demons. And it's Spider-Man. That's right. He's a character in this book. And Hallows Eve puts on a werewolf mask. And Peter's like, you know what? Wreck-Rap, you can take the werewolf. And Spider-Man just disappears. He just runs away. Meanwhile, the X-Men are fighting the Insidious Six, and Cyclops uses Magic's portals to summon to send away the Insidious Six, taking away any stakes this issue had. Havoc is here now in his boy toy getup, which is weird, and he doesn't even do anything. He just stands there next. They make a big deal out of him like showing up to join the fight, but he just stands next to Maddie as the X-Men lead the charge. You'll notice that Forge and Sync are here now, even though they weren't in the tie-in issues. I guess they just regrouped out of nowhere. Sure, okay. And Peter gets the crap beaten out of him by King Chasm, because I guess he just reappeared out of nowhere. For whatever reason, Peter gets Tom and Jerry'd by Chasm's scythe. He just gets like swung around like a cartoon character. And all of a sudden, oh yeah, Gold Goblin, Miss Marvel, these characters were in this book too. You don't want to explain how they got here. Figure it out for yourself, buddy. The one characters who aren't here are MJ and Black Cat, because I guess no one really cared. There's a really weird page where like half of it is right side up, but the other half you have to turn the book sideways to read it. I don't know why they did that. But
I was wondering if that was just like an error on my copy, or
no, it's everyone's. It's on the digital edition. Basically, everyone assembles Avengers style, and Cyclops, Jean, and Sync use the 3-beam attack from Avengers Endgame to defeat Chasm. Chasm says, we're not winning this fight. And he says, I'm sorry, Janine. I love you. Stay safe. And he sends her into a portal. And then he loses. He gets rid of Bedlam, but Maddie takes control of the scythe, and Magic tears him away from it. And they capture Chasm. He gets taken into custody. And Maddie says, we're going to solve this a little diplomacy. For whatever reason, it's spring now. Woo! Yay!
An entire page we wasted just for it to say fucking spring.
Hey, you're one.
There's gonna be a lot of F. Just know this.
So in a Krakoa prison, I guess it's Krakoan, but they never really explicitly say it. I'm just kind of going off context clues. Peter goes to Ben and says, "Hey, so Jean Grey's literally in the next room over. You want to copy paste my memories into you and kind of get away from being Chasm?" Ben puts on his Chasm mask and says, "Here's the middle finger to you, Spider-Man." He doesn't actually say it, but he kind of takes on his mask and says, "This isn't the real Ben Reilly." And the prison guard takes Peter out, and I don't know. Jean doesn't offer to solve the plot like she did in the X-Men tie-in, because it's Zeb Wells writing and not Jerry Dugan. Havoc leaves the X-Men to be Maddie's, I guess, liaison to Limbo. And Maddie opens the Limbo embassy to New York. No more hiding. The end. Okay.
Mailbox is still there.
Yeah, the mailbox. I don't know why Wells thinks that joke is funny.
That joke stopped being funny with the freaking free comic
issue
almost a year ago. Okay.
Mm.
Um,
All right, Zach, you wanna take the lead on this one? Give me your grade.
it's a D minus. The only reason
Woo!
it's the only reason is because it's Adam Kubert, and he actually, I felt like I liked his artwork better in this issue than
Yeah,
I did.
agree.
Yeah.
Agree. Yep.
So that's the only reason that this is not a complete and total fail. How Ben, this is where the X-Men element, and don't get me wrong, I'm going to be on Books of X, so I'll be able to understand a lot of it more
you
better.
won't. No, you won't. I don't even understand it.
A lot of it I will understand maybe a little better because I'll be able to brush up on my X-Men history in general. But the fact is this is an event that, much like the event tie-in issues, didn't need to happen, and yet we have had X-Men all over this run
for no reason.
And again, the X-Men have to come bail Spider-Man out of his own book. There's no Avengers. I don't know what the hell the Avengers are during this particular period of time.
Off doing whatever Jason Aaron wants them to.
Like you said with the last issue, the resolution was there. You have the plot element that you could effing use, and you don't do it because plot demands it. I mean, you asked me via text earlier today, like, is there any reason that Ben would be doing this? No, characterization-wise, this makes no sense. And this is where I do wish that Paul was here, but he hasn't read the books yet, so he's running behind, and it's fine. But come on, guys, like, you have the ability to resolve this, but instead you are so devoted and so married to your
edgy Ben Reilly. You had to move the goalpost to keep Ben Reilly edgy.
Yes,
it wasn't even like a justified decision. You could see you could see where like a solution was presented, and Nick Lowe was like, "Oh shit, we got to keep this plot going. Give him a reason not to do it. Go."
Again, this is where I run into the problem with this particular direction with Ben. This makes no sense character-wise. You have to strip. Peter is trying legitimately to help him throughout this entire thing, and he's basically throwing a giant whiny-ass temper tantrum like he's a 3-year-old. This is a guy.
This is even like an irrational, like in an irrational, like schizo mode tantrum, like Paul was suggesting. Yeah, it's.
This is where
I wish Paul was here because I'm replying directly to like things he'd probably say about Chasm, and I don't want to do it in bad faith, but to me, like, it's not Ben acting irrationally. It's just Ben throwing a temper tantrum because they need to keep the plot going.
And honestly, too, look, I was hoping that we would get to a resolution by the end of this, but now we're back to basically Ben is now in limbo, like literally in limbo, not figuratively, but literally.
No, he's in like the weird tower that I guess they just said screw you to zoning laws to.
Yeah, like that was an expensive ass building. That Krakoa money must be doing well for you.
Emma Frost checkbook is just burning right now.
Yeah, like Ms. Marvel had no point in this. Venom was to move the Al Ewing plot along to explain why Eddie splits into Bedlam.
And Merdice, that's the other Venom stuff.
Yeah, so again, I'm not paying attention to anything that for the most part that Venom's been doing. There's time paradox elements. It really upsets me when I look at what they could have done with Ben and what they actually ended up doing. and there's people who are like, I'm done with this run because of this event, and they're pissed off. And honestly, it has felt like that this has been a giant, colossal waste of everybody's time. Because
it's $30 just for ASM.
This just for ASM, it was $30. You sat there and you dove into all the tie-ins, you're probably paying $60. It's like, for this event to end like a wet noodle when you could have done so much more with it. And that's where honestly, that's where my being upset and mad and angry and disappointed. I'm at the point of just being purely disappointed. I'm so apathetic now to what this editorial staff and this writer is going to do with Ben that I don't care.
You got me to leave the book. That's how you know you messed up. You got me to stop reading the book. I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, look, I stuck through Beyond, and I was pissed about how that ended. This could have been.
Hang on real quick. Radiant made a great point. Madeline got away with everything. She faced no consequences for her actions at all. It's like that meme of Steven Universe going to Hitler and saying, "It's okay, guys. He's sorry." Madeline just says, "Oh, I'm sorry for bringing hell to Earth," and
right.
she gets away with it. She wins.
She gets to win. Not only that, she gets to win. But then Ben, what's his punishment? He goes and sits in a freaking jungle. Like
Palm
that's his
Springs,
punishment.
in a Palm Springs swamp.
Oh, I get to mopey and emo? What the fuck is that? Are you kidding me? That's not a punishment. I used to work in prison. Trust me, I know what punishment looks like.
I get the point of like why they put him in a Palm Springs swamp is because the demons don't know anything and the demons are fucking stupid, so they can't do anything right.
I mean, I took it as, the demons. The idea is like peace and tranquility for demons is chaos. So when it's like, oh, we're put him in a chaotic situation, they give him a peaceful and tranquil.
But then, like in
prison.
In the same page, though, Peter's like, "You're being irrationally nice to Ben for what he did to not only New York but also you." She goes, "Ben fully confessedly." No shit, he confessed. He was the one looking like Devil Man walking through the city with demons.
And he was basically doing what she told him to do.
His repentance should be rewarded. What does that mean?
Literally, Madeline gets to get off scot-free, like you say, and on top of that, Ben, he doesn't really face any real consequences. You let freaking Madeline go.
He has to sit in a box.
Again, like this is like almost as bad as Magneto at the end of the first X-Men movie, where he's just sitting there in his plastic box and he's just sitting there playing. Charles Xavier. The equivalent of this is he's like, they're going to let me out eventually. Well, I'll be there when you do. It's like setting up a sequel that nobody fucking wants.
And this is supposed to resolve. Was this supposed to resolve Ben's story?
No, this was supposed to just sit there in a little box and just sit there with your action figures and throw them up together and say, "Oh, looky what I'm doing! I'm gonna bring the Goblin Queen that would have came out with the Hellfire thingy, Hasbro, but then that got canceled." But like, are you fucking kidding me? This is the win.
Oh, you guys, Marvel made him mad. I love it when Zach gets mad. Go, Zach, go. Bring the view count up.
This is... But like, again, if you put Ben on the path to redemption at the end of the story, I'm okay. I would have been okay. But instead, you just sat there and said, "No, we're going to put him in a fucking box."
Think about what you did.
Yeah, as Ryan said, you go to the limbo jungle and think about what you did, Ben. He ain't gonna care. I'm sitting there at, sitting there with a bog, just hanging out like swinging on vines like Tarzan.
So I looked it up. Hang on. So for one, I want to ask the question of what a demon tower solves. That's kind of a weird thing to do to solve the plot. But apparently, I'm looking at someone's Discord logs. Now that people are getting the issue, apparently the entire Limbo Embassy was planned in Hellions, and Maddie had the power inside her the whole time, so she could redeem herself as the Goblin Queen and have an ambassador for demons and just have it tie into X-Men. Apparently, this was the tower was one of the planned endings for Hellions, but there was no lead up to this. For whatever reason, Baja Blast Devilman raises it from the grave, and I guess is this supposed to be? Is the tower that's in the ending of the finale supposed to be the same one that Ben raises at the end of issue 18?
Probably, maybe. I don't know. I would assume so.
But again, why are we using Ben Reilly to settle a plot point on an X-Men book? The fuck is that? Other than the fact that he got two clones working together. That's it. What? No!
Yeah, like I said before, this X-Men stuff just isn't. It wasn't the way to have this Peter and Ben confrontation.
I love how Zach turns off his screen. Just okay. So we're gonna have to call 911 on air. I don't know if that's actually the ending. I'm just speculating because that's someone posted on a Discord log.
Everyone
can't verify this.
Everyone keeps saying that like he was trying to wrap up his dangling.
That's what he said.
Plot. Oh yeah, well okay. I mean, if he said it, then who are we to argue with him? I guess.
I don't care about Zero. I'm going to be honest. I don't care about Nick Lowe's letters page.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Listen, I'm one of those like I don't dislike Lowe. Respectfully, okay. The whole him, having his clone being in charge of the letters page during the event was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Until it got old.
Right.
But then then to get me super amped for next week, I got to deal with a 2-part Joe Kelly story.
It's got Terry Dodson though. Aren't you excited?
On my list. I love Terry and Rachel. Okay. I love the Dodsons. Don't misunderstand. I don't love them. I don't love Joe Kelly. Okay. Joe Kelly, for the most part, has been a very inconsistent writer for me, and not the guy that I would want. If it was, what's the guy's name that's writing? The Black Cat, Mary Jane.
McKay.
If it was McKay, I would be all right. I'm in. But to make me excited for a Joe Kelly written Black Cat story when this is the motherfucker that literally wrote the mask sex bullshit.
Yeah, Peter railing Black Cat in a hotel room they stole with the masks on.
This is the same guy that wrote arguably my least favorite Black Cat Spider-Man stories. You're expecting me to get excited for that? Fuck off. No, I'm not excited for that. Will I review it on the show? Yes.
I won't. I made the smart choice. I got out.
Listen, but you know what? No, I'm not going to let. Listen, I'm going to go in with open mind because Kelly is not bound to the edicts of Brand New Day. Okay, I would think he's evolved as a writer. Maybe. Let's see. I hope that I'm wrong. I will come on here on the YouTubes in a couple of weeks and I will say, I was wrong. But like
Okay, I'm gonna make a controversial take. The other artist on the book, Francesco Mortorino, I honestly think his art is better than Kubert's.
I liked Kubert quite a bit on this one. Is my opinion.
Inked by Sal?
Scott Hanna.
He's inked by Scott Hanna.
Okay, well that explains it. Because like I think he did his own inks on the last time.
Oh, Kubert or
Kubert. And so I
don't know if he's inking Kubert. He's probably he's definitely inking. Yeah, he's definitely inking him.
It's very on.
He might. I mean, he could. Well, I don't know the style. I feel like I can see Hannah's style on top of Moratino. Or
it is really okay. It is really weird how he did all the breakdowns. Kubert did, but then didn't do the finishes.
No, he did for at least for the first half of the book. But I think it's about the time. So I'm gonna find. I think it's after Chasm gets BTFO'd by the 3 beams of doom. Yeah, I think that's.
I think it's after the big Maddie reveal page. That's the last one he did, maybe.
Yeah, I can't tell. That's weird. But you can tell there's like a difference. Like there's a transition between. Wait, did Buscema help? I didn't see that in the credits page.
And it isn't in the credits page.
I mean, he was probably smart by not letting his name be put on there.
I mean, if Sal did, then okay.
Cool.
I mean, I don't really.
Hey, Ryan.
I don't really see
Ryan,
it.
I don't see Sal's inks anywhere.
Yeah, I didn't see Sal was a part of it. If Sal was, then cool. I'm all for Sal Buscema getting Marvel work. Don't get me messed up. But
also Rec Rap is gone. He just vanishes. He just. I don't think we ever see him like go away.
You spent an entire issue introducing us to this bullshit.
You mean the best character of the event? Don't slight my man Rec Rap.
Don't get it twisted.
That nobody asked for, and then you just have him just exit off fucking panel. Are you kidding me?
Like at the end, Peter mentions to Ben, like, "Oh yeah,
I can't find Rec Rap."
I wish he said that to Ben.
He did. Well, I mean, he didn't say that exactly, but like, I love the way Zach said, like, "I couldn't find Rec Rap."
There need to be missing posters around New York.
Can we also talk about the fact that Spider-Man was like a non-factor in his own event?
Again, this is straight up the worst parts of what I disliked about.
I mean, it was all X-Men. Like
it was like the chasm stuff is like an afterthought. Even like when he's the bad guy, it's barely like it's all about Madeline's redemption arc. Chasm is like an afterthought
because it feels like that this is something that Nick Lowe wanted that Zeb Wells executed, and it's just Luke makes up a great point. He says, to be completely honest, if it weren't for the fact that Scarlet Spider is going to be in across the Spider-Verse, I don't think Ben could recover from this.
Can we also talk about the fact that
let's not forget that Black Cat was a villain at one point, and she basically got better. So anything is possible.
With the right writer who actually cares about the character. Again, I ask this question. I'm going to ask this question every time Ben shows up. Where the fuck's Kane?
In a better book than this.
He is literally leading a demonic invasion, and you're telling me that he wouldn't show up? For real?
Okay, so Radiac, he didn't get BTFO'd by magic. He got BTFO'd by 3 beams from Scott, Sync, and Jean. Also, real quick, I want to point out the fact that Jean and Scott like go out of their way to call Madeline family, and Maddie has like that weird kind of face about it. But Peter never once calls Ben his brother.
You could literally take the dialogue from Revenge of the Sith.
You're my brother, Ben. I love you.
You were not supposed to become part of the dark side and succumb to the darkness. You were supposed to.
Here's a post from one of my friends. X-Men. Don't worry, Maddie back. Here's your memories, your family. Spider-Man. Ben, you're crazy. I won't give you your memories. You're trying to help you in any way. It's time to stop.
I mean, yes, Luke's right. Let's be real. It'd be best for Kane.
That's what I'm saying. Is it's good that Kane didn't get roped into this.
Again, look. But this is me thinking with the characters driving this plot, not the plot driving the characters. And that has been my biggest gripe about everything to do with Ben. From the moment
for the plot
on that stupid helmet at the end of Beyond until now, it's been
which helmet? The
memory helmet. Yeah.
The memory helmet.
The skull laser.
And see, that's the thing, because why? I mean, there it is right there. Like, why not have Ben try to reconstruct that helmet and then try to force Peter to put it on again, and then they find some other way? Like, that would have been.
They found
and then throw Kane into it. Like, all this X-Men stuff is just out of nowhere, except for I guess the Hellfire Gala.
You could have brought in the X-Men at the end to do it, and again, Gary wrote the what should have been the end of this story, but again. It's almost as if editorial said, "Oh, no, that's too easy. That's too easy."
Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going a little.
For what? For what?
$5.99, baby.
And again, that's where that's where I'm frustrated. As a fan of Ben Reilly, I'm frustrated universally. I have seen nothing but disdain for this story. I have seen nothing but just dislike. Now, granted, what I don't support is people going out of their way.
One harassing Nick Lowe, because
like there's been people that were harassing Nick Lowe. As bad as I hate this story, don't harass Nick Lowe. Okay, we have differences of opinion on what we feel like should be done with Ben. Me and Nick Lowe do, but that's it. You're right. Luke does bring up a good point. If Chasm weren't Ben and it was just a new character, he'd be fine. I understand wanting a new anti-Spider-Man. I just don't understand why it had to be Ben Reilly.
And I think it's weird that, like, I brought this up last episode. I've actually brought it up multiple times, that they felt a need to they made a huge deal about Ben being like the new Venom, like, you know, angsty asshole with like a bone to pick with Spider-Man, which is like every Spider-Man villain, but you know, what can I say? Or with goo powers. That's the better way to put it. But then they brought in Venom for a stupid boss fight so that Ben could go do magic with Miss Marvel. And I was like, what's the point of that?
Again, this entire event is the worst of event comics. It really is one of the least. It has been the biggest slog to get through. Even the dogs hate it. And it didn't feel fun. I didn't have fun with this, and you know, Zero. You're not wrong. Ben Reilly died in Peter Parker Spider-Man 75. Nothing. You know, they brought back Norman in that story, and they kill off Ben. And at least with Norman, it felt like that there was a plan. From the moment that Ben Reilly has returned, it has just felt like he has been a plot convenience and been something to drive the plot. They've been trying to make him a bad guy for the better part of 5 years. The Ben Reilly we knew has been dead. And I know that there have been a lot of people that have been telling me that for years, and I was one of those that was very reticent to and resistant to accepting that. But if this is the type of shit that we're going to get, I don't want it. Kelly does bring up a good point. She says that she means that there's a time where Niccolo needs a clap back, but speaking up isn't harassing or taking cheap personal shots at him. That's the point. If I was to sit there and write a letter about today's issue, I wouldn't be taking personal shots at him. I would say, look, if the plot is driving this, the characterization of Ben makes no sense. The motivation of Ben makes no sense. He was manipulated, and then the person that did the manipulating gets off scot-free.
This is a good comment. It broke Zach.
This was hard. This was a slog to get through. It does not make me look forward to the next issue. If the point of a story is to make me excited for the next story on a basic element, I shouldn't be feeling relief that it's over. And that's what I feel right now. I feel relieved that this is over. This is, bar none, my least favorite story we've covered on this show. Bar none.
Oh yeah, what happened to Maxine Danger? Like, are you ever gonna get a follow up to that, or did they just go away?
I haven't heard that name in
Speaking of character limbo,
a year.
Woo! Oh, what about the Slingers? What are they up to?
Yeah.
Slingers again.
Marcus.
Look, listen. I'm a '90s. I love the '90s.
He's a '90s dweeb. That guy, not this one. That one.
Like I have all the. Oh, not all of them, but I have a lot of the damn retro card figures. I love the '90s Spider-Man.
25th anniversary of the finale of the show was yesterday.
Yeah, it was. Ben Reilly's, co-starring episode.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. What's that? Ben Reilly? Chasm? Hallows Eve? Babe, wake up! It's 7 a.m. The new Spider-Man cartoon's coming on.
Oh man.
The new episode of Spectacular Spider-Man. It's coming on now. What are Chasm and Hallows Eve?
Yeah.
The US recession. What are you talking about?
Jeff is correct. That final issues letter page was written weird. It was the whole thing. Look, I'm glad that they had fun with it. Oh boy. That is a hard question for me. Okay, so the question that for your audio listeners, it says, Zach, what story was worse for Ben Reilly, Clone Conspiracy, or what Zeb Wells' Chasm run? It's Clone Conspiracy because without Clone Conspiracy, you don't have the Chasm run. The glee that Slott, it felt like Slott took to mercilessly kill Ben 27 times and revive him 27 times, felt like a slap in the face to Ben fans, as much as this did. But without the former, you don't have the latter. So to me, the former is worse. But this is on that level. Like, it's like, here's Clone Conspiracy, here's Chasm for me. Like, they're right there. The margins between the two are very close. But I feel like because Clone Conspiracy reveled in the evil of Ben
and derailing his character,
that I just feel like that Clone Conspiracy was the worst thing to happen to Ben. The fact that his revival was so bad.
Haha, I killed Miles Warren. Time to resurrect everyone as clones.
And again, who's to say he killed Miles? And I know that Slott tried to put plot contrivance to make sure that was the Miles Warren. I don't believe Miles Warren's ever dead. Okay? Nothing in the character's histories. It's like his excuse with Mysterio. Oh, well, how's Mysterio back? How's Quentin Beck back?
He faked his death.
Yeah, he's Mysterio. Yeah. Well, exactly. We here's the difference. If Gerard had read this, or Donovan quit. He dropped ASM because of this. He literally dropped ASM because of this story. Right? No, he dropped. He had picked it back up.
No.
Oh yeah, no, he picked it back up on Twitter. He literally dropped.
I didn't see that. I gotta find this. I follow him. I gotta see this.
Yeah, he's like, I think he said, "Fuck this," like literally. I saw that, and just again, Kevin, he hated the very concept of Chasm, and dropped it. I think with Beyond. I don't know if he picked it up. Josh, he picks things up sporadically. He's so busy with his DC stuff. I don't know how much he's really, emotionally investing in reading. Radiac says this event is indicative of the current state of ASM. Hence why, in his opinion, it's the worst Spidey story. There's no editorial meddling, just an awful story where this is what we can expect moving forward. And Vinkman says correctly. It goes back to what he was saying earlier. The run has been so bad, it's making people drop the book. The problem is the villains of this run have been such the strength that when we get to this event, that strength is bungled.
Well, actually, I think it's Venkman's comment right here. Dark Web is so bad it's making fans like me drop the book, and people still buying it are older readers features just for completion's sake. I don't have this kind of patience. I'm not expecting like a happy ending for Ben, but it feels like there's no end. The blood machine must keep turning.
Listen, I was the guy in 2011. I was at San Diego Comic-Con begging to bring back Ben Reilly. If I had known
that monkey's paw, holy shit, that finger curled.
If I had known what I was getting, if I had Dr. Doom's time machine, I would go back in time, slap my very long-haired version of myself, and say, "Bro, you don't want it. You don't want it. Just let him be. Not with this group." We did get good stuff. I did like Chris Yo's Scarlet Spider run for the most part, but again, it seems like all these runs end really badly. Like Yo's Scarlet Spider, Peter David's Scarlet Spider, King in Black was a decent ending. Was probably the best ending of the last few years. The best final issue was Zdarsky's Spec run. So, yeah, and then like, why do we have Gwen Warren running around in the what? Since when?
Wait, this is in the X-Men Infinity, in Marvel Infinity Comics, I think. Don't ask questions.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're right. Luke's right. He says, honestly, for him, as bad as Jackal Ben was, he thought he was helping the world up until he went in full genocide mode anyway.
Well, but no, he didn't think he was helping the world because he wanted to replace everyone with clones and give them the pill.
Well, in the beginning, though, if you recall, he was trying to give people like their their clone-grown limbs and stuff like that. But he was also saying, damn the side effects, which was that people's bodies were rejecting it because it wasn't real organs. But there was, you could have distilled through some of the bad to the good. But then once he went full heel, he was a tweener acting like he was a face, and then he went full heel. And when the heel turn happened, it was just like it was instantaneous. And then he was like, I'm going to replace everybody with clones, and he just becomes Miles Warren circa Maximum Clonage all over again.
That's wrestling lingo, everybody.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's wrestling parlance. Faces are good guys, heels are bad guys. But yes, Gwen Warren. I think I had heard this, and I was confused.
Didn't she die in Superior Spider-Man team up?
No, she died. Okay, so Gwen Warren is Joyce Delaney. Okay.
No, I could have sworn that like there was a Gwen clone in Superior Spider-Man team up.
It was not Superior Spider-Man team up. Yes, there was a Gwen clone, but it wasn't Gwen Warren.
Okay, I'm thinking of the one that was it Yost and Shishido drew.
Yes, that's what you're talking. I know what you're talking about. She's just a Gwen clone. That was just a Gwen. So Joyce Delaney was killed in the Deadly Foes of Spider-Man one shot with Phil Urich Hobgoblin on the cover.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
By a supposedly the original Gwen clone, which was a prototype for the carrion virus that we had never seen before, written by Fred Van Lente.
I know what you're talking about. The one that was a prelude to Spider Island. The one that came out after Grim Hunt.
Yes. So supposedly Joyce Delaney was killed. Now, I guess through Krakoan magic, I guess she could be brought back, but
let me see if I can find out how she got brought back. 1 sec.
Because like that to me is like she was definitively killed off, and I remember being utterly pissed off. I remember Josh especially being pissed off. He called Gerard and ranted for 30 minutes about it because the amount of continuity errors in that one book alone was just so freaking absurd.
Okay, hang on. Oh, I found. Okay, so
my favorite one was when they referenced the Shea Stadium incident, and for some reason had the Gwen Stacy clone being strapped to the bomb when it was.
Okay, so this isn't Joyce Delaney. This is a different Gwen clone. This is the one from Avenging Spider-Man number 15. The one where Spock teamed up with the X-Men.
Okay. So this is okay.
It's been kind of around for it's in the X-Men Unlimited Infinity comic.
But I was like I say, like I guess she just was a clone that assumed Gwen Warren's life, because Gwen Warren originally was the Gwen Stacy clone, the original Gwen Stacy clone from the 70s.
Yeah, it's okay. So Nature Girl and Armageddon Man sought out Gwen and activated her spider transformation power. It's the one that transformed into a spider.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking. No, you don't know what I'm talking about. Never mind.
Yeah, but so between you and Zero, I think I've got it. So okay, all right. So that makes a little more sense. But Gwen Warren originally was Joyce Delaney. Like that is fact. I will get Josh on the phone to confirm because he's my continuity guy. But all right, cool. Yeah, wouldn't that be a mind fuck though? If you're Peter and you show up, and all of a sudden you're seeing like
Gwen
again.
You're supposed to be dead
again.
I just saw you because the progenitor.
Well, he doesn't know that Joyce Delaney was killed because she was killed in France.
Oh yeah. Hi.
Don't forget your laundry.
Okay, bye.
Don't forget your laundry, Neil.
Yeah.
What a last episode, huh?
What was that quote from the JMS run? It's like, don't forget to wear clean underwear, or always wear clean underwear, or something. Aunt May says to Peter.
All right, so we'll take some live comments to wrap this episode up. This has been a wild one.
All right. I guess the question is final thoughts. Adam.
Let's see. Great art. Too much X-Men.
Apologies for the language in this episode.
What else?
You were more naughty than I was.
I guess there's always hope that Ben can still get better, but I guess we're not holding our breath. At least Zach isn't.
I'm
Um,
If I held my breath, I'd be dead.
I'm content. I'm content with him literally being in his peaceful limbo and not taking him out anytime soon, unless they really want to do like a big redemptive battle between him and Peter. But I think him being in having a life sentence in peaceful limbo jail is good enough for me.
The viewers did. I definitely won't be doing that next week. But poor Janine didn't deserve this. But
I don't care.
I'm gonna go read it because I'm a masochist a bit. It does have a really cool Green Goblin variant cover by Alex Ross. God. We had a very lively chat tonight, so thank you for being a part of it. To Zero, SoFlo,
Well, thank you,
Radiac,
SoFlo.
Luke.
This was a very Radiac, Jeffrey, Luke, Kelly. Thank you guys and Ryan, of course. Thank you guys. This was a very fun episode, even though I was miserable. So, final thoughts to Neil.
Well, this was not the issue I wanted to go out on. Like I wanted to leave, but it's a shame that ending with as big of a wet fart as this was the one that I chose to go out on.
You can always come back for the Black Cat 2-parter.
No. I'm going cold turkey, baby. You can't stop me now.
All right, Freddie Mercury.
That's what
now. Can't stop me now because I'm having a good time.
Literally Neil when he leaves the show.
I'm having a good time without reading
he's
the book
doing
anymore.
Number while he's doing his laundry later. Walk up and be like, "What are you doing?" And you're like, "I'm having a good time.
But yeah, it's been a fun run. Whoever takes my place on the show, you've got both big shoes to fill, but no standards at all. So
yeah. So he'll be behind the scenes. We'll be doing more.
I made the thumbnail for the Make My Mayday interview, so you'll see a lot more of my work in print, I guess.
Yep. So yeah. So Radiac says he's at least being intrigued by the being set up from Felicia as to be made a point with the MJ Team Up mini then is coming up next. Hopefully that shows a promise for a good story. Jeffrey says, thank you guys for providing a good show. Neil, it's been real. All right. So without further ado, I do believe I'm going to do this one live. The outro. All right. That wraps up this episode of the Spidey Dude Experience. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you're listening to us in the audio editions, be sure to check out our other great shows here on the Spidey Dude Radio Network, such as Amazing Spider-Man Classics with Jack and Javi Trujillo. We've got Spectacular Radio, Spectacular Spidey Podcast, part of the Spidey Dude Radio Vault of Podcasts, along with Clone Saga Chronicles. We got the Sal Buscema era podcast with Chris Dedmond. My episode was just uploaded. The last couple of episodes have had me on there, so we're slowly but surely getting to being caught up with that and having all the episodes out. Of course, as we mentioned earlier, Books of X will be Patreon exclusive, but the first one will be out live on the channel. So, got to thank our patrons before we get out of here. Got to thank them. Got to go Vinkman, Scott, Greg, Keegar, Phoenician, Kale, Georgia, Jessica, Catherine, Cindy, Jurgen, Laura, and our newest Patreon member, Master Dameron. Also, be sure to check out Voices from the Eyrie, a Gargoyles podcast. It is one of our most popular shows here on the Spidey Dude Radio Network. And also, don't forget, next episode that's going to be dropping on the channel will be Make Mine Mayday with the three people in charge of Spider-Girl. So thanks for watching, guys. See you next Wednesday if you're watching that, and looking forward to it. We'll see you next time here on the Spidey Dude Radio Network.